I don't know which article is the original, but I have the one pulled up by People. And the title is, you guys can see that, right? The title is Lizzo says plus size women are being erased. Society must undo the effects of Ozempic boom. People get very confused as to why I have such an issue with Lizzo. I've had a couple people be like, I don't get it. Like, what is your problem with her? I'm just going to come out and say that okay, maybe I've been a little dramatic on the Lizzo thing, but in reality, like my issue with her is that I think Lizzo is very fake, right? I don't know her. If I ever met her and learned more about her, maybe I would change my mind. But my impression of her from just in person on the outside looking in, she gives very fake, especially when it comes to her weight loss journey. I am one to believe, in my opinion, that she's not being the most honest about it. Do you owe the world an explanation for your weight loss? No. But when you spend a lot of time building your identity and your influence around your body size and unhealthy habits and lifestyle, and then you turn your back on all of that without an explanation, then I think it can be a bit problematic. Maybe the people deserve a little bit of an explanation. Okay. So I will say Lizzo looks good. She looks great. Her weight loss has been looking really good. It seems like she's really feeling her body. Now it says Lizzo 37 opened up about her weight loss journey and her complicated feelings about the body positivity movement in a candid new essay. The Grammy winner who shared that she weighs over 200 pounds and is still a proud big girl, also expressed her concerns about the current Ozempic boom. She additionally revealed that she began losing weight in 2023 during a period of severe depression. That is what we're going to cover when we go through her Substack posts, okay? So it said, I'm gonna skip through a little bit to this quote. It says, so here we are halfway through the decade where extended sizes are being magically erased from websites. Plus size models are no longer getting booked for modeling gigs, and all of our big girls are not so big anymore. She reflected, adding, we have a lot of work to do to undo the effects of the Ozempic boom. I know I read that really quickly, but essentially Lizzo trying to unbig her back and still advocate for big backedness. Do you see why this is not a safe space today? Okay. Do you see why? Lizzo is trying effectively, I might add, to unbig her back while still advocating for being a big back. And I don't say that in a derogatory way toward being big. I'm saying that as in, like, some people get offended by the word fat. Some people get offended by the word obese or obesity. Some people get offended by whatever word you use to describe their size. Okay. So I'm going to use them all because I can. Lizzo built her career off of being big herself. Mind you, I think it's wonderful that she's losing weight. We're also going to get into Tess Holliday as well, because she's another one that has made a career off of being big and is now losing weight. Let me get it right. We have a lot of work to do to undo the effects of the Ozempic boom. Is it me, or does that sound like she's telling people to stay fat, or we have to undo the weight loss? Doesn't it sound like she's saying, like, if the Ozempic boom is everyone losing weight, everyone, there's plenty of people that aren't losing weight, or there's plenty of people that are losing weight but are not doing it via Ozempic. If we're undoing that, wouldn't that mean slowing down the reduction of obesity? Wouldn't that mean going in the opposite direction? That's what it sounds like to Nicole. But Michelle sees it two ways. You're writing to explain. Michelle, if it would be easier for you to come up on the stream to explain really quickly, and then you can drop back down if you like, that would be okay as well. You don't have to come on camera if you don't want to. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, how are you?
How are you doing?
So I'm okay. So for my first perspective, when you first read it, I got that for the Ozempic, like maybe like because I think there's like a thing of like when we think about the Ozempic is like people are like getting on this medicine to lose weight, like versus like I think sometimes we talk about it in the community like it's not all about the medicine. Like we need to erase that thought, but people are getting healthier. That's one perspective that she could be saying. I don't know.
Okay. And
I,
what was
I
the
don't.
other one?
And then the first one is what you had already identified. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I
Basically
had,
saying that people should stop losing so much weight.
yes, correct. So those are my two perspectives on it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, so the other perspective could potentially be that maybe she's saying that getting healthier isn't necessarily the problem, but we're putting too much of a hyper focus on Ozempic. Okay. I would like, if that is what Lizzo was trying to say, I would challenge that people were losing weight before Ozempic. Okay. People were not at as much of a successful rate, but people were losing weight before Ozempic. So if she's trying to say that, maybe we're putting too much of a focus on Ozempic, then okay. But I do think that what I think, my opinion, and you guys can tell me how you feel. I think that Lizzo is trying to play both sides of the fence. Okay, she's trying to still be the big girl advocate while no longer wanting to be a big girl. That's what I see. Okay. But you guys continue to let me know what you think. So that was her quote. I don't need to read the whole article. I just wanted to show you guys that as the basis for why I'm having this conversation. Now, I'm not sure what she means by undo the effects of the Ozempic boom. And as far as plus size models are no longer getting booked for modeling gigs, maybe because the demographic of bigger people is decreasing. Is there any, okay, let me ask y'all this. Is there any world where losing weight is a bad thing other than if you are normal weight or underweight and you have some sort of or you have some sort of medical illness? Is there any world where an obese person or overweight person losing weight is a bad thing? Because I feel like that's how it's being presented. I feel like we're being told that, I feel like body positivity, right? We're not going to pretend that body positivity is inclusive of everyone, because it's not. Body positivity is center focused and heavily focused around people in bigger bodies, okay? But I feel like that whole movement has been more so about appreciating an aesthetic and ignoring the health factors or health risks that come with being in a larger body, right? So that's why I said on my community tab post to overly basically emphasize body positivity as an overweight person or as a obese person, is to deliberately ignore obesity and the dangers of obesity. Can you be body positive as a bigger person and still, can you choose to be a bigger person? Can you choose to stay bigger, right? Because Kim said earlier whether a person chooses to lose weight or not. So let's say a person is 200 pounds overweight and they're choosing to stay at that weight. My argument is that that person is deliberately ignoring the dangers of obesity. Do y'all disagree or do you agree? Is it safe, or let me see what y'all say, because I'm having a hard time like putting it into words. But I feel like when we talk about weight loss, people make a big deal and they put a huge emphasis on not wanting to be vain, not wanting to be thin, not wanting to be skinny, not wanting to look better. Oh, I love myself. It's not about looking better. Okay, great. So they put heavy emphasis on not being superficial when it comes to weight loss. But when it comes to being plus size and body positivity, it's all superficial. Nobody wants to talk about the health factors or health risks or the dangers. Does that make sense? It's all about how good you feel about how you look. So there's a whole lot of projection going on. Like the projection about looks gets pushed onto people that are already smaller or are trying to be smaller. But the people that are bigger and saying, I love being big and I want to stay this way because I like the way I look, I like the way I feel, isn't, so are you not being superficial? Isn't body positivity in and of itself superficial? Because what is there to be proud of? You can't be proud of the health status. So you're proud of the aesthetic, right? Am I making sense? Math is not mathing. She's losing weight and getting healthier. I don't know, make it make sense. I don't think she can. In the land of make believe, yes, ma'am. As we discussed, can we be clear regarding what weight category we are discussing? I think there's a difference between being overweight and being 500 pounds and not trying to lose the weight. I'm talking about both. Skinny fat people are not healthy, shouldn't be proud of unhealthy status. Okay, how do I clear this up without derailing the conversation? Okay, so Kim wants to talk about which group of people we are talking about, wants to clarify which group of people we are talking about. Okay, I'm talking about overweight and obese people. I'm defining overweight as more than 20 pounds more. I'm going to say 20 pounds plus a healthy weight for your height. And I guess if you want to say gender or sex, if you want to say age, sure, but really it really goes by your height. I am using the BMI standard, right? So this is not about how you look. I'm talking about medically. I'm talking about medically. Now, as far as skinny fat people are not healthy, I'm not going to be discussing skinny fat people because it's going to derail the conversation. It's a different conversation. It takes away from the broader point of what overweight and obese people are talking about, especially influencers. Like I'm putting a lot of emphasis on influencers as well, to be clear. And the reason that I'm not going to talk about skinny fat people is because there's less of them. They are the minority. Not that they don't matter, but we are not equating skinny with health. So when we bring up skinny fat people, that only matters if a person associates skinny with healthy. This group here, we know that skinny don't mean healthy. So I'm going to leave the skinny fat people out of it because we ain't talking about them. Okay. All right. So Kim, let me know if that answers your question. Okay. This is Lizzo. She posted this. Okay. Maybe y'all can see that. Maybe. Oh no, not you derailing. I will derail it, sunshine. Not you. I will derail it if I start going in that category. Okay. But thank you, girl. All right. So let's do this. Let's get to Lizzo's Substack. Okay. Looking good, Lizzo, I must say. Okay, so she says, I started losing weight in the fall of 2023. I was severely depressed. I had been the subject of a vicious scandal, I recall, and it felt like the whole world turned its back on me. I became deeply suicidal. Ooh, I wish I hadn't read that. Too late. I cut off all my loved ones. I couldn't trust anyone because during the scandal, former close colleagues and friends who I'd been on pleasant or neutral terms started to come out and make things up about me. God knows why. Yeah, that's the reality of being a celebrity, girl. I suppose to kick me while I'm down. 15 minutes of fame, I guess I'll never know. That resulted in my extreme isolation. I was angry every single day, mostly because I couldn't go out and defend myself. I couldn't tell the world the truth because no one would believe me. I understood my position of power and I sat in it. The old me would tend to binge when sad and depressed. I would order hundreds of dollars of food delivery and eat everything until my stomach felt like it would explode. But this time, I just didn't feel like doing that. Not because I thought it would result in my weight loss, but honestly, I didn't care about my body. I didn't want to feel safe. A huge part of me blamed myself for what had happened to me. You shouldn't be so nice, Melissa. I didn't know her name was Melissa. This is what you get when you let the wrong people in. So in my self-loathing and self-neglect, I began to rot. As someone who has talked and sang about self-love their entire career, it was hard to watch that happen to myself. And so I decided to turn my extreme inaction to action.
Okay, here's the thing about this. I definitely empathize with her depressive episode and her mental health battles and how she turned to food. Trigger warning, we are discussing mental health, and I'm going to be discussing this from my perspective, but this is not to project what I think onto anyone that may be listening. I'm just going to say what I think about her explanation. For one, she's making it seem like her issues with her weight started at the start of the scandal, right? Which was about 2 years ago. So she's talking about, her overeating and feeling sad and her mental state not being the greatest because of the scandal, which makes perfect sense. But Lizzo, you were big before the scandal.